Hello, stitching friends. I feel a little bit like a snowman today. I'm on my way to my daughter's farm where the Smith family clan will be gathering for a Christmas party. But I wanted to take a moment to talk with you. I think we'll talk about English samplers for just a little bit, and then we'll talk about smalls. I have a variety of things spread out before me. Let's talk about English samplers first. I don't know if I have showed these to you or not. I don't think so, but we'll see. The thing about English samplers is you can often tell that they're English because of the mirror image type of symmetry in the samplers. It's very useful when you're reproducing because, as in my Susan Scott English sampler, one corner was really almost gone. Both corners were in tatters, but because of the mirror image situation, I was able to reproduce it by putting together the two corners and seeing exactly what was originally there. So this little sampler is a lovely example of English symmetry. There is no name on the sampler, so I won't be able to find the stitcher, but it is so charming. I couldn't resist buying it, even though usually if there's no name, I do hesitate. But here we go. Look at this precious thing. Oh, the light. I don't have a good room in my house without sun, except my bedroom, and then it's too dark. But you can see the two little dogs beside the tree, and there's a plant beside each of the dogs, and then there's another plant and three baskets at the top. So this is mirror image symmetry. Isn't it darling? I should reproduce it. It's a very small sampler. Let me know if you think you would like to stitch it. It's all cross stitch. Yes, every single bit, and it's perfectly charming. So that is an example of the mirror image we find so often in English samplers. Let me set it down here. So I have a wonderful sampler that I've recently purchased. Let me reach over for this one. Now, this is an English sampler, and I've had help from Andrew doing the research. It was by Emily Tufton, Tufton. She was 12 years old in 1865 when she made this sampler. I'll show it to you in a sec. It has several verses on it. Let's see. We have, man did at first love God supreme, holy and just, and free from blame. But when he touched the fatal tree, became a child of misery. And then, further down, we have, seek virtue, and of that possessed, henceforth to God resign the rest. And then, contentment is a constant store, desire what's fit and nothing more. And this is an English sampler, and when I show it to you, you can see the symmetry in the design. But my favorite thing about this sampler is in the center. And it's in red stitching, looks like over one, and it says, on Christmas, at the nativity of Christ our Lord, the angels did rejoice with one accord. Let Christians imitate them here on earth and keep this feast with joy and civil mirth. Is that charming? So it has a little Christmas verse tucked into the middle. Again, my apologies for the sunlight, but I hope you can see it. It has a strawberry border, which is actually the most common border found on all samplers. Let me get a little closer so you can see the Christmas verse in red. Isn't that darling? I love it. So, and hopefully I will have that, a model for that, and have it ready before next Christmas for you to see. So this brings me to another English sampler. This one I actually taught for Jean Lee at the Attic last January in the Sampler Symposium, and I'm getting ready to send it back to my wonderful friend and model stitcher, Judy Tober Hall. She's going to relace it to suit her, and then have it framed. But before that, I wanted to show it to you. Now, it's available as a PDF on my website, General Pursuit Designs, and I have just come out with a booklet. Let me show you the booklet first. So this and my Autumn Sampler Compendium are my first try at having booklets published. It has the color key on the back and tells how many skeins of each silk we used on 40 count. And it has, let's see, complete instructions with the large charts I do, and very nice large stitch graphs as well in the booklet. And I just put this up on my website. Let me show you the sampler, and then I'll show you some other things. We'll start with smalls, and I'll tell you about a special offer for those who buy the booklet. Okay, here it goes. It's big. This is on 40 count. It's a wonderful pre-Norfolk sampler. I should have gotten out the antique to show you, but at the bottom corners on the antique, which is actually glued to a board, of course it came to me that way, I didn't do it, but it's in tatters at the corners. But because of the English mirror image situation, I was able to reproduce it. What was missing on one corner was still there on the other, so I could put it together. Isn't that gorgeous? And look, it has Algerian eyelets and satin stitch and cross stitch over to, let's see if I can come closer, wonderful peacocks. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? So, that is my Susan Scott 1734 sampler. I put my Autumn Sampler Compendium up last week, and I have had a wonderful response to it. I had a giveaway. If you bought a booklet, I would send you a free sampler chart, and I sent those off. I wanted to show you the little project actually in person. So here it is. The cover is actually an antique sampler. I bought a very faded out sampler because I love the house and the trees and the fence and the flower pots. The antique is very faded, but I changed the colors and the stitches and added pumpkins and leaves from another sampler. So that is the cover. It's an antique sampler. And then I have a pavilion stitch spine and some double running stitches for the back cover. And then inside I used a motif from one of my Quaker samplers, and I love, love, love acorns. So I did a double running acorn band, and two of my favorite songs for the autumn season, and also, I guess Christmas too, Come Ye Thankful People Come, and Over the River and Through the Woods, I had to put on there. And this is all one piece. I'll show you from the booklet, but I have put a little lining inside. Now, I stitched down these two center lines of the Florentine inside to make a little pocket. Let's see. So mine has a little pocket in it in the middle. So I have 3 pockets. But if you didn't want to do that, you could have one large pocket, and then these beautiful Florentine motifs would all show. Mine are covered up, but they're 3 in a row down here. And as I said, there's a little lining inside the pockets. It's mine is stitched on 40 count Hemingway linen from Needle and Flax. Rachel very kindly sent some to me, and I loved using it. So here's the booklet, and I wanted to show you how the self-lined projects work. I don't really sew, and I love smalls so much, but sometimes getting all of the lining corners mitered and just right is a real problem for me. So I started doing self-lined projects. So inside the booklet, this is what the outside looks like and the inside looks like. And of course I have step-by-step instructions. And when I say please read all instructions carefully, seriously, please do. So this is what it looks like when you stitch it, you see? And I have shown you how to fold it. Let's see, here are the 3 beautiful Florentine motifs right there. And let me show you. Oh, I have a couple of alphabets in here for you to use. Oh, and true confessions. So I had been working on something over 1. And so when I was looking at this chart, I counted up 12 threads instead of 24, because I was looking at the little boxes and thought they were over 1. And I didn't realize what I had done until I did the whole wreath. And I looked at it and thought, okay, I am not going to take out that whole wreath and move it up. What can I do instead? So, since the songs say, "Come ye thankful people, come, over the river and through the woods," my grandchildren call me Mimi. I put, "To Mimi's house we go." But I've included this as an option if you wanted to say, "To your house you go." But the actual chart is done correctly, showing the graph centered as it should have been if I had been paying attention. The graph is centered for you, but you have the "To Mimi's house we go" option with an alphabet in case you wanted to do that. So let me show you one other thing. Oh, here it is. So here is the layout, an actual picture of the stitched project. And it's lined with nun stitch around all the edges. I shouldn't say lined, I should say there's nun stitch around all of the edges. And so when you finish the stitching and you finish the nun stitch, simplest thing in the world is to join the nun stitches. And when you fold it up, just as I've shown you in the instructions, you just fold it up and sew the nun stitches together, and then you have a completely finished lined project. Ta-da! And you didn't have to miter any corners or do any of the fiddly things. So that is my little autumn sampler compendium. I want to show you some surprises here in a minute to go with marketing those 2 projects. I love designing and stitching and sharing my designs with other people. Not to be mercenary, but if I have them printed, you know, publishing is costly, so I really do need to sell them. And I'm always happy to sell them to shops and happy to have customer sales as well. So I'm going to give you a bonus for buying from me in a minute, but I wanted to look at some smalls first. This little thing, Faye Rigsby finished it for me. I have kits. The tree is Algerian Islet, and it is from my Agnes Wiley sampler, which is on my reproduction list. But isn't that beautiful? So I sent linen and the ribbon to Faye, and she made it into this beautiful little pincushion for me. Love it. So I do have kits of that. I wanted to show you a couple of ladies' companions I hope you would like to see. So these little things are antiques, and ladies would take them with them when they would go away, or I guess keep them in their sewing room. And they have things like little scissors, whoops, and a thimble. This one has a rather large, I guess that's more of a bodkin, and an awl, very pointy. What else does it have? Oh, it has a needle case. And all of these little things fit perfectly in this fitted lady's companion. Isn't that sweet? I've had it a long time. I do love smalls, you know it. So here's another one. Oh, let me show it to you and then I'll open it. It's interesting because it has a curved edge here. It looks like a book. See? Lady's Companion with tooled leather. I'll show you all around. Isn't that lovely? And then when you open it, this one is a little different. So, what do we have? On the very back, this you could fit tools in also from the back. And then inside, it's a needle book. And you can see it has channels. So you could, see here, they've run their threads through the channels for this piece. So that's one. There's a little mirror. Oops. And this actually has some writing on it. I can't read it. But this opens. I had it open a minute ago. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think? It's embossed. It might go with this tiny pencil. Perhaps it's a little notebook. And then we have a thimble. And a crochet hook. And this is so interesting. Let's see, what's this? Oh, look. I hadn't seen these before. A tiny, tiny, tiny pack of, let's see, Kirby's London Ultra number 9 diamond polished needles. I think there are any in there. Let's see. Oh, look. There are. Oop, I hadn't really noticed that before. So that is tiny and so sweet. You see? Okay, now this is something that interests me. You see this pincushion with a little ribbon on top? When you open that, look, there's a hiding spot. I don't know what I would put in there, but there's an option to tuck something else inside. So these are my ladies' companions, and I thought you would like to have a look at them. Well, let me put all these tools over, and I will carefully put them back into the right one. So have you been baking? This Christmas season, through the year, and mostly, excuse me, at Christmas, I bake raisin cinnamon loaves, and I baked a lot of them yesterday to take to this party. And I was looking for things in one of my little cupboards. Look what I found. Isn't that beautiful? A rolling pin, much smaller than the one I was using. And look at this. It's actually an etui. It's empty, but you could put a little roll-up needle case in there, couldn't you? You could put all kinds of things in there. Isn't that darling? Love it. So another seasonal small I thought you might like to look at is this one. It's a cradle, and it has Holyrood Palace on the top. So here's a little cradle. And look right there. My granddaughter, Brooke, hasn't been here since I put the nativity out, but she's always stealing the baby Jesus, or she did when she was small. She mentioned it the other day, so we'll see. I might have to hide baby Jesus before she comes on Christmas Eve. So there are some smalls, and one of the reasons I wanted you to see them was because of my special offer. Let's see, let me sort these things out. I have one more series of smalls to show you. So these are very delicate, but this is a bell-shaped needle book. It's made of red silk, and it has a darling emery, and you pull the emery and the needle pages come down. And here's another one, very, very delicate. I don't know why this emery is sideways. I'm afraid it's shattered silk. But this is what this one looks like. Another little bell-shaped. I'll carefully pull that back in later. Make sure it's okay. Oh, there it is. It's just come apart at the top. See? And this is painted. The design is painted on. And the strawberry is adorable. I don't know if you can see that, but it has little bumps stitched on it. And the top is also stitched. Oops, there. Okay. The reason I wanted to show you that was because of my special offer. So, well, I'll wait on that. Let me show you one more. Oh, here we go. So this ornament was one of my just cross-stitch design ornaments a long time ago. And you can see what I based it from. So often with my smalls that I design, I'll take the shape of one of my antiques and then add some stitches to it. So you see there? Glad tidings. Another one of my Christmas ornaments, and this one I think is the very first one that I ever submitted to just cross stitch when I started designing, because it's dated 2004. So the Love Feast in Old Salem is very precious to me. I go whenever I can and have for the last, 45 years, whenever I lived close enough to come. So just cross stitch, I'm a little fancy sometimes for just cross stitch. They only published the front, you see? But I had also put a Moravian star on the back, and one of my favorite songs that they sing, In Me Shine. Beautiful, beautiful song that little children sing a refrain and the audience joins it. Anyway, so this is silk lined, and you squeeze it and it opens, and this tiny needle book goes inside, and I put the Moravian candle with the little ruffle around it. The ruffles in ribbon. What stitches have I used for this? I see Algerian eyelet, Smyrna, cross stitch, flat stitch, a cashmere stitch. Bring it a little closer. It is. That's the door, by the way, that we go into. If we're lucky and can get there like an hour and a half to 2 hours early, we wait at that door until time to go in. And then here's a Moravian star on this side. Okay. And here's another small that I've done. I didn't dig out the antique this is based on, but it's a little spool keep. And I have a small leather one just like this. See if I can hold it like that. Okay. So, two things. Anyone who orders this will get a free one of these. Either this one or this one or this one, and the spools are included. And additionally, I have just taught this Salem Scenes piece in Buffalo, New York. I've told you, Old Salem is precious to me. I actually based this, the front cover, on a beautiful painted needle book in the Salem collection that was made in the 1800s. And the spine of Queen Stitch I took from a wonderful little notebook in the Salem collection. Years and years ago, they actually let me bring that notebook home to study it. And then on the back, I have my favorite door and a Moravian couple ready to welcome people into the church. Now, let's see, here's the inside. And then to go with that, I have a scissors fob. Oops, I can't seem to find the right spot to hold things. There's a little scissors fob. And then this piece is actually, oh heck, I forgot to bring the antique to show you. I might just go get it. This is based on a beautiful antique that I have. It's a scissors keeper. And I'm going to, I recharted this to teach it in Buffalo. And I made it, I swizzled it around a little bit, and I made it a self-lined project. So I'm going to put the PDF up for that. And what I'm thinking is anyone who orders the PDF, I would also be glad to send a hard copy of the project, or I could send one of these others. So, again, if you order this, I'll be happy to send you one of those extra ornament projects or the spool keep that I just showed you. So that's my offer, and let's see, let's make it through January 15th. So when you buy one of these, you'll get a chart for either this one, oops, or this one, or this one. Okay. Okay, so what else? Oh, one more thing. I'll push all of these back. I wanted to share this with you. So we talked about Christmas and the Christmas verse in that antique sampler. Well, I have not researched this sampler at all. As a matter of fact, it just came to live with me a very short while ago, but I want to show it to you. I know we all love Red House samplers, and it has one. It looks to me like it would be an English sampler based on the symmetry. It was made by Susanna Hare, H-A-R-E, when she was 9 years old in 1833. And this is what I want to read to you. So it's the Christmas season. Christmas right now is it's 1 week from today. And then comes New Year's. So we've had a Christmas verse, and now listen to this one. I should really have this ready. I think, well, let me know if you would like me to reproduce this. Again, if I go to all the trouble and expense of publishing it, you have to buy one, so I can pay the publisher. But this is just a lovely, colorful sampler, and this is what the verse says. To muse on the year which is closing, to show how precious is time and how rapid its flow. But where are the scenes it presented to view when first it came forward, all smiling and new? Ah, have they not faded, though lovely and bright, like a rich glowing landscape encompassed by night? Then hope tunes a strain so enchantingly dear, it banished suspicion and quieted fear. So that sounds like a New Year's verse to me. A great sampler to start a new year on. Look at this. Is that not charming? Let me bring it up closer. I've never seen that border. At first I was tempted to think it was Scottish, and it might be kind of the reversed border that you see so often. But again, look, it has oak trees with acorns, mirror image birds and flowers. Love that middle band sampler. Look at that, tulips with pine trees on top. So, and a red house. Shall I publish it? You know, my email is cissy2449@gmail.com. And let me know what you think. So, I guess I'll be off. My onion souffle dip is baking. But I wish you a most wonderful, wonderful holiday and a happy new year. We've been through some times here lately, haven't we? It is lovely to see things opening up. I've gotten all my boosters, and so I'm hoping for the best, and I wish you a happy and healthy new year. Thank you. Bye-bye.